Hello there. Happy weekend. This is Dave at PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com, and it is Sunday, May 7th. I'm going to go through what the markets did for Friday, May 5th, and we had a nice reversal off of some support lines. And well, we'll get into it. I really need to do this for my own homework, and we'll just do it together. Um, so this is the S&P 500, and this is still a big red candle that came up. The S&P came up 1.85%. The Dow came up 1.65%. The Russell came up 2.39%, and the Nasdaq came up 2.25%. While oil came up 4%. That's a big move. But I don't think oil's technically reversed yet, but I guess I could say that about this market as well. The S&P hasn't technically reversed yet. It's not a green candle, and but it sure is. It's going forward, and it's also following. It's worth mentioning on the left-hand side here. The weekly chart has been in a bullish move since uh, February 27th. So it hasn't reversed, and that's important. And we did break the red trail scan here. Um, it broke, and then we actually got some pullback, which is totally normal. And now we're poised for this thing to go higher. Now, I do think we'll probably, Friday tends to lead into Monday. So will we get some more uptrend into Monday? Possibly. We do have a little wick here going on Friday's price action, um, which means that the price came all the way up to there and then pulled all the way back to there, which isn't a lot, but I could see continuation. Let's just look at the intraday chart. Pull back into these lines possibly before this thing can take off again. Um, or that's probably the most likely. It's getting somewhat overbought. This is the hourly chart. It's getting somewhat overbought on the True Momo indicator, which that's what the True Momo does. It gives us like an actual buy signal for momentum, and then it gives us overbought and oversold. And it's not, obviously nothing's perfect in the markets, but I mean, getting an actual buy signal when you're oversold is a good move. So just like we're in the upper reversal zone here, we're in a squeeze on 2 time frames on the that's a Bollinger Band and Keltner channel squeeze on the daily and the weekly. The weekly is fired now, which tends to lead for 6 to 8 bars, which in this case would be 6 to 8 weeks, in the direction of the trend that came from. So it's been on a bullish move, and it should go 6 to 8 weeks more bullishly. Is there any guarantee of that? Absolutely not. So, but we are in the upper reversal zone over here on the right hand side of the chart. We don't have a buy signal yet. I could see, I guess what I'm getting at is a pullback and actually a buying opportunity into Friday's candle, which means down into the body of Friday's candle, and before this thing can launch. And when it launches, we've got these Fibonacci's on here. 4,300 is a pretty good target, and then right after that, 4,400 is the 1618. And the fact that it bounced off the 618 down here is a giant deal. I was talking about it before it did it, and I took a little bit of advantage of it. I sure wish I'd have piled on, but that's all hindsight. So, and then we can see statistically, May, 80% of May on the S&P 500, we go up 1% in the last 10 years. June is basically flat, and July is up 3.35%. That's statistically over the last 10 years. Literally added the last 10 years together, divided by 10, and that's the percentage that comes in. So that's not, I mean, you'd have to actually go look at each individual year to see what the highs and lows are. So, all right, well, let's look at some price action for the sake of doing it on these other. So the Russell's been the one that's been lagging, and it's got to break this upper trend line again. You can right click that and put a create alert on a drawing for what it's worth, which I'm going to do here, unless it gives me fits, which it looks like it wants to give me fits. So great. Forget that. All right. Here's the Dow, which sure looked like it was going to fall apart on me, and it is bearish on both time frames. So that's to be, we should, shouldn't take that lightly. What's it look like on a intraday chart? Looks like a serious reversal. So again, this looks like it might want to pull down into these moving averages, and we'll see what happens. And I also, again, this seems like maybe we could get a buy signal on the daily, and it wouldn't negate the one on the weekly that we have, but I would think it would be the more prominent signal at the time. If we get a buy signal on the daily and a roll back up, what happens, they're called fractals. So inside of a larger trend, inside of a larger chart, you have to get the smaller chart has to go first. So it doesn't mean that the big chart can't push the smaller chart because of optimism or patterns or whatever else is in the weekly chart, but the daily chart has to go up before the weekly chart can continue going up or down, for that matter. I hope that's not confusing. The NASDAQ has been the one that's been holding up and been really just powering higher, and it did again on Friday, and it's got buy signals on both time frames, and it just continues to go, which is, I think, good news for this market if you're in for the bulls, which most people are. The FANG stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, it's not really a FANG stock, but they're all generally powering higher. Meta has been a good story lately. Let's look at it for fun. So yeah, Meta's been pretty much just rocketing higher. We've had, earnings was a big gap up, and now we've pulled back and filled in part of the gap. Yeah, Microsoft MSFT, be one to look at. It also powered higher after its earnings. I was looking for a deeper pullback there. That's why I have that signal in there. I'll take it off. It's not getting it. So, anyway, let's look at oil. Click the right thing. And oil did bounce off of this big hammer candlestick that we talked about last week. It's still looking pretty bearish. That should be a pretty good anchor bottom. But if that fails, baby bar the door. So it looks like I can get rid of this line or this drawing. All right. There's some interesting statistics for oil prices. 9% in May, 3.5% in June, and minus almost 4% in July. So, all right. So that's, I think, a good enough look at the markets. Let's flip over to the bullish percent indexes. That's stockcharts.com. Type in bullish. let's just buzz through all of them. The Dow went up by 5.88%. The NYA up by 1.5%. The transports didn't move. The NASDAQ up by 1.59% and still hasn't put in a new column of X's yet. The gold miners, this is an interesting one. The S&P 500 minus 0.77%. So that's interesting in the face of everything that happened on Friday. So what we're trying to do, guys, is just put together, what are the odds? What's the overall view of the market doing? And so this is up by 1.89%, and the NDX is minus 2%. So that's interesting too. We'll see. I mean, this could be a big head fake. And something that is true is, if you go back on charts, the big Fed move this week was they apparently signaled that they are going to stop raising interest rates, or even just pause. Markets don't. New bull markets typically don't come off of giant moves off the bottom like this. So you got to get like hammers and wicks and things like that. So maybe this is the move back here, or even back on the weekly chart, way back here in September, October of last year. But anyways, all we do is we just got to watch and add up all the evidence together and make these decisions and try to keep ourselves in the positive. And then last but not least, this is my automated algorithms, my systems that move on their own. I should say trade on their own. So here's the Dow, and I'm evaluating the Dow to see if I can't make this algorithm a little bit better. More on that later. But so we've had some pullback lately, but this whole quarter has been kind of rough, and that was where it came back up again, and now we've pulled back. We're just barely positive for the quarter, but on a 6-month basis, that's what it looks like, and it is, obviously it's positive. These pullbacks are tough to take. And then this is what the individual trades look like, just the recent ones, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. So you can see that those match when it's come up and come back down again. So that's that. This is the Russell 2000. These are E-mini futures, by the way. And this is what it looks like on a 6-month basis, and the latest trades. We had a big run of negative, but then that got followed up with some pretty decent positives. So, and again, I've talked about this before, but you want your gainers to be greater than your losers. And so we got to be able to take the losers. I mean, these are hard trades to take, but you want this $7,000 gain when you get it. So, and then this is the NASDAQ. It's the one that floats the best. Not really looking to try to improve it, because it already looks like this on a 6-month time frame. And it's really back and forth is pretty good, and the gains are generally much greater than the losses. So that is what I have for you guys. And if you get interested, if we flip over here, precisealgorithmtrading.com, this is our website. Under the products tab, first of all, the algorithm trading systems, it kind of explains a lot of this and how these things work and kind of what some of the pitfalls are. It explains our tools that we've built for Thinkorswim as well. Also, make sure you read our disclaimers because, you know, yeah, I do this every day. When you do it, you're operating under your own assumptions, your own stuff. I mean, I can't trade for you. And anyways, here's the products tab. This is where we have it all set up where you can buy these strategies, these indicators, and yeah, that's it. So that said, have a great week this next coming week, and hopefully everybody can have some great trading. Take care. Have a good weekend.